The woman is a best-selling New York author, and her husband has come upon a tragic end. He was killed in an accident, and they don't know who did it. It was a hit and run where they live in Texas, and so Savannah is her name. Very charming young woman, very thick. Southern accent that has all these strange and funny and weird and cute Southern expressions that she always throws at you. Of course, she's devastated. Going through their home in their office in their home, she comes across a deed that was that her husband had bought a house in Seaside. He was a doctor and came to the Oregon coast for a medical convention, and while he was here he fell in love with the coast and bought a house, and did not tell her because he wanted to surprise her, having this little cottage as a getaway for both of them. So it's taken her several months to bring herself to come to the coast and to see this house. And she has every intention of looking at this house and putting it right back up on the market. Well, it's not a little cottage. It's a great big mansion. It's a huge house. Very dilapidated. And this is a big shock for her. And like I said, she has no intention of staying, but a few things happen, and she does. So that's, and then, she has to solve this mystery at the same time of who killed her husband, and whether this was murder or not. So it's a mystery. And then I have another book coming out after that, and this is a wonderful story. It sounds really strange because half of it takes place in Seaside and half of it takes place in Ireland and Scotland. And so Bob and I went to Ireland and Scotland in the fall so that I could do research for this book. And it's a great story. So I'm not going to tell you because I'm still working on it. So yeah, but I just keep getting inspired, and I just keep writing because that's who I am and what I do. So, anybody else have a question?
Is Kirschman, you might have answered this or said this before, is this your grandfather's name? Is that the family name?
No. Herman is the rabbi's name was Kiva Herman, and that was my grandmother's maiden name. Okay. And I changed the names for tax reasons.
Yes, it is.
I have one question, and you may have already covered this and I missed it, but in real life, and don't answer this if you prefer not to,
Okay.
but in real life, did your grandmother subsequently marry other than to Peter Andrews?
No. She married my grandfather and was widowed. She was in her 40s and never remarried.
Wow.
I think she was about 40.
Jewish.
What's that?
She did find
She did
someone
marry,
Jewish.
oh yeah, she absolutely married a Jewish man, and a wonderful man, yeah. In fact, I'm named after him. His name was Gary. Yes, I do. She's sitting in the back in a yellow shirt. Lois. Yeah.
I've been waiting to get the next one.
She said she particularly likes mysteries, and so she's waiting for the next one. Every author needs an editor, and we can write, but it's the finality of it, and it's getting it just right and perfect. You cannot proofread your own work. Absolutely, you cannot. And I tried. Yes, Lois.
Well, it's kind of fun. This is the first time I've done anything like this, and I got so involved in the story, I was missing anything. So I would let myself read what the chapter she sent me, and then I would go back, read the chapter she sent me.
You were
So I had to
so
know
enthralled
what
in the
was
story.
going on. And so on my way over here, I said, I don't know if I want to read it again, but I'd sure like to get it all at once. But if I read it now and I find another error,
I won't hold anything to get you. You can relax on. I'm going to give you the next one too, so it's okay. You did a good job. But an author cannot read, cannot proofread. I tried by reading it very, very slowly and going over word by word, but I had the book memorized, and so you're not reading every word. And so, so I was glad that Lois was able to help me out. Yes.
Is it hard to keep the character line so you know that the character has actually done something that she was predicting early in the book and did it at the end, or do those come into
No,
play?
I keep I make out an outline for every book, chapter by chapter, what is going to be in every single chapter, so that I don't make mistakes like that, because I have. And luckily they've been caught. You know, I'll say it's a particular morning and it's sunny and she's wearing a blue dress, and at the end of the chapter, you know, she's wearing a red dress and it's raining, and it's because I forgot what I had said the weather was going to be. So you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. And a rule that I've worked with, although it's not an exact rule, but when I try to make something major happen every 2 or 3 chapters in the book, which keeps the story moving, and then the in-between chapters are when the characters react to what happened. And so that keeps things rolling. And so when I get to a chapter, okay, now I'm on chapter 5, what happens in chapter 5, and I read it, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, so now I know what I am. So it's very, very important. And there are authors that do not use outlines. And personally, that's the way I was taught, and I don't know how they do it without. Of course, my memory is not as good as it used to be, but, you know, outline really, really helps. Yeah. Yes, Karen?
So you pretty much control your characters.
What's that?
You control your characters pretty tightly, or do they do unexpected things? Like many authors say, I didn't know they were going to do that.
I start out and I really do a characterization on each character. I do maybe a page or 2 or 3. Even if I don't use what I write down, from my own mind, I know the character better. I know what they look like. I know how tall they are. I know what they, the color of their eyes, the hair, their body structure. I know everything. The more I know and understand my characters, the more they do take over the story, particularly in this one. They kind of, after a while, write the book for you, because they kind of lead you in different directions, and so that's kind of fun. What was fun about writing this book is because is that these are people I never knew, and they're my family. And I sat down and had dinner with them, and I eavesdropped on all their conversations, and I really truly got to know them. And yet it gave me a funny feeling, because I really, really knew them by the time I got to the end of the book. They didn't know me. And that was kind of a strange feeling. And in a way, when I got to the end and I finished the book, I had to say goodbye to them. And I mentioned, somebody brought up to me one day about my books and my characters. And I told her, I said, Sherry, I don't know if you remember this, I said, well, every once in a while, I do pick up my books that I've written, and I will read them from cover to cover. And she laughed and she said, well, why? And she says, do you forget what you write? And I said, no. I says, I've gotten to know these people so well, I consider them my friends. I have spent months and months and months and months with them. I know everything about them. And sometimes I just like to sit down and visit with them again. And it's very true. So every once in a while I do sit down and read a good book.
Do you have a favorite character?
Oh, you mean in all my books? I love, in the first book, 1,000 Summers, I love the characters in there. Massey is me. I love her relationship with Patty Jo. I like that whole being free here as a child, having the beach to yourself. I just love that whole book. Probably Rebecca. I was very, very close to my grandmother. Her real name was Elizabeth. And she passed away when I was 12, so I have very, very vivid memories of her here at the beach also. And she was quite a lady, and so probably, I would probably have to say that. Although all my characters are one way or another really stand out in my mind. So.
How old was Elizabeth when she passed away?
She was only 70. She died of cancer. And she actually died in 1963. However, when I was outlining the book of things that were happening in the outline and in my timeline, I had to move things up a few years because I would have had to stretch it out. And according to what happened in the story, there couldn't be that many years in between. And so I moved it up to the end of book being in 1957. So instead of later in the 60s. Anybody else?
Well, thank you.
This is wonderful. Thank you so
There's food in the back, and might as well start from the back, I guess. Honey has signed all the books, but if you want a personalized, she'll be here to do that. And I think that's it. I hope that you're cool enough up here.
I have.
If you ever get tired of writing, it's so hard.